Hello children, in this video I am going to explain you 8th chapter of your book Footprints Without Feet. The title of this chapter is The Hack Driver. Let's begin this chapter. The narrator gives his introduction that after completing his graduation with honors, he got selected for a job of junior assistant clerk in a very famous law firm. But instead of preparing legal papers like a lawyer, he had to deliver the court orders to various people whom he had referred to as his victims. He said so because in many of the cases he had to face very awkward situations where he was beaten up by them. They did so in order to avoid court orders, as they had to then comply with them. So, the narrator says that he hated his job. He hated it to the extent that he sometimes thought of running away to his hometown, where he could work as a real lawyer and not as a mere clerk. So, what happened? One day, the narrator was very happy to know that he had to visit a place which was 40 miles away from the place where he lived. He says that the town which he had to visit was New Mullion. He had to visit this place in order to serve summons. Summons means court orders to a man whose name was Oliver Lutkins. Oliver Lutkins was a witness or observer in some case, and the firm needed him for that case, but he had constantly been neglecting the letters sent by the law firm. When the narrator reached New Mullion, his excitement about visiting a village was washed off. It happened so because the village was not as per his expectations. The streets were in a bad condition as they were full of mud. The shops were also very dull. Everything he saw was full of dullness and making him sad. But then he saw a delivery man who was about 40 years old and was very cheerful. It seemed to the narrator that he was very friendly with other people. This made him like the delivery man, and he referred him as the only person in the village who made him feel nice. The narrator went up to this cheerful delivery man and told him that he was searching for a man whose name is Oliver Lutkins. The delivery man quickly repeated the name of the person being searched by the clerk. He then told him that he saw Lutkins an hour ago. He also told him that it was not easy to find him, as he was always up to something. Then he told him that Lutkins could be found at Fritz's shop, where he played a card game known as poker. He also inquired him about the urgency of finding Lutkins. The narrator replied that it was very urgent to find Lutkins, as he had to go back to the city by the afternoon train. To this, the delivery man said that he had a horse cart and he would help him in finding Lutkins. He knew all those places where Lutkins spent his free time. The clerk was impressed by the friendly and caring behavior of the delivery man. He says that though he knew that he was trying to earn some money from him, but he accepted his offer because he was a very nice man. It was because of his nice and friendly behavior that he accepted the offer, but he cracked the deal at $2 per hour. Later on, the delivery man brought his horse cart and offered him to sit. The clerk thought of the kindness and the helpful nature of the villagers who helped a stranger and took his problem as his own. The delivery man started a conversation with the clerk and inquired if he had to take back his money from Lutkins. He also told him that Lutkins never paid back his debts. He too had to take back 50 cents from him, which he had won in the poker game. The delivery man regretted being a fool who played with Lutkins though he was aware of his nature of non-payment of money. Later on, he suggested him not to come in front of Lutkins because his fancy clothes could make Lutkins doubt him and could give him a chance to run away. So he told him to stay behind him at Fritz's shop. As the hack driver was working hard for him, he told him the truth behind his search. He told him that Lutkins was a witness in a very important case, but he was not helping them out by giving them the details. That information of Lutkins could help them in solving the case quickly. The driver heard all this seriously and then hit on the clerk's shoulder and said that they would surprise Lutkins by catching him and fulfilling the clerk's purpose. They start their search for Lutkins. On their way, the hack driver introduces himself as Bill or Magnuson and said that his business was called William Magnuson Fancy Carting and Hacking. The clerk replied in a very friendly way that now he and Bill should begin their search mission. Bill also told him that Lutkins was fond of playing poker and also praised his ability to cheat others. This made the clerk imagine about Bill that he, being a policeman, he would have caught Lutkins in a very respectful manner. Not only this, he would have felt bad to put that man in jail. Now, Bill took the clerk to Fritz's shop and inquired about Oliver Lutkins. He tried to appear natural by saying that his friend had come to meet him. He did this to make Fritz tell the truth about Lutkins. At first, Fritz was confused, but then he said that Lutkins was there a few hours ago. But he left for Gustav's shop, where he had gone for a shave. After getting the information, Bill asked Fritz to convey a message to Lutkins that he was looking for him. Next, they went to Gustav's shop. Here also Bill went inside the shop first and the clerk waited for him outside. They had to face the anger of the hairdresser because Lutkins had not paid his $35. But one of his customers told them that he had seen Lutkins in the main street near the hotel. When they were about to climb the hack again, Bill guessed that Lutkins may have gone to Gray's barber shop as his credit limit with Gustav had ended. But when they reached Gray's shop, they came to know that Lutkins left the place just 5 minutes ago. They decided to visit the pool room, that is a betting shop. Someone told them that he had left after buying cigarettes. So, their attempts to catch him were all in vain. Almost an hour had passed. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the clerk was hungry. But Bill's cheerfulness and his knowledge of the villagers was so delightful for him that he hardly bothered to find Lutkins. The clerk asked Bill about having lunch. He offered to buy lunch for both of them from the restaurant. Bill replied that there were only 4 restaurants and none of them were good. He said that he would get food from his wife. Bill also suggested the clerk to buy a food parcel from his wife as he had to pay only $50, which was far less than the price of the restaurant meal, which was oily and non-tasty. He also suggested that they both go up the Wade's Hill, which was a nice place to view while they had their lunch. So, rest of the part we will do in our next video.